earlier this morning at 8. Again, long day, but hopefully we'll get to our agenda briefing here for Thursday's meeting swiftly and be able to move right along. Now, go ahead and call the meeting to order. Council, you have your packets and agenda. Are there any adjustments to the agenda? If not, can I get a motion to adopt our agenda briefing agenda as presented?
Make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Now. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, motion passes. We'll move into general business. First item is comments from council and myself. I will start with Mr. Now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just two questions. I really have, and they're not really earth-shattering. I was being involved with law enforcement. I was wondering if the chief could kind of enlighten me on how we do our forfeiture here when we lock up our bad guys. Because sometimes when I see the emails or read the Ardell Free News of the crimes that happen here in Troutman, the guy's driving a vehicle, or the guy's got funds on him, or whatnot. How do we, as the town of Troutman, do with seizing people's cars and their money and whatnot?
We have to be able, they have to have, we may have felony possession charges, but we have to have it as like, possession with intent to sell and distribute. And then also the vehicle has to be, we have to look and say, is this something worthy of, seizing? But once we seize any property, it sits and we fill out a form that goes to the state Department of Revenue called a BD4, and they do a tax on the narcotics we seized. And they, sometimes that property will be seized and, then sold or turned over to, us for use. We haven't had anything really, even though we had felony charges, we haven't had anything with the amounts to where it was going to equal the tax was going to get us the vehicle seizure on that. So you have the guys like with the sheriff's office that do the interstate interdiction. When you're working with Homeland Security, if you have a task force officer assigned, that's where they're getting a lot of that funding is the federal government. You have somebody with $11,000 in cash. It's greater than the amount you're allowed to carry. HSI seizes it and it gives a percentage back to the agency.
So even though we make the arrest and it's all collar or whatnot, the funds are kind of taken by the feds.
If you're going the HSI route, if you're going the Department of Revenue route, it's seized by the state and a certain percentage comes back. Yeah, we don't get to just hold it.
So we're kind of almost at the end of the police department in Troutman, between the feds and sheriff's office and whatnot.
Well, no, it has to be, we have to seize it if we are the ones seizing the property, and then they tax it, and the state gets, like they would divide up, and they might give us a percentage back to Troutman PD. But the percentages would change, and there's it's starting to become a negative connotations around because it's considered policing for profit. So it's not, there's fluctuating case laws in the courts right now about it. So we only do it under this very strict.
So it's not as easy as it seems.
No.
Thank you, Chief.
Well, that's been debated for a while.
Yes, it has.
And my second question, I guess, maybe I can direct this towards Lynn, but I see our code enforcement gentleman in the room. I would like an update, if you could, on the Mad Monkey, because as soon as the weather kind of turned, and I know maybe it's debatable whether or not it turned or not, he was going to take some action.
He gave us a specific date, and I believe he has until the end of April to make those changes. So we are monitoring that. That was the agreement that we had.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Zarensky.
No comment.
Mr. Hinkle.
Nothing last moment, sir.
Ms. Harris.
Only thing I had is I wanted to thank everybody for your thoughts and prayers during this sudden, unexpected passing of my brother-in-law, who was right here from Troutman. I appreciate everybody for thinking about us, and we really appreciate it. And we still solicit your prayers because it was difficult. and especially being unexpected, and he was only 48 years old. So we truly appreciate you all. That's all. Thank you.
Mr. Robinson?
Don't have much. We did have a good, I think we had a very good, productive budget session. I think they get better every year since I've gotten here. So, yeah, kudos to all the staff putting that together, all the department heads, town manager. It's a great job. And we got to see the clips.
Thank you. Ditto everything that was said. Now move it over to Mr. Wyatt.
Mr. Mayor, just thank you all, and again, kudos to the department directors for all of their hard work in coming up with intended budgets of where they see their departments. And thank you all for your questions and input. I truly think we have some of the best, if not the best, department directors in the state, and just their work today proved that they're conscientious of returning a quality product to our taxpayers, but being accountable to you all in what services they are offering and what we're doing. That's all I have at this time.
Great. Next item, we'll go into discussion of waste proposal bids. Wyatt?
If you all was sent the electronic version and the paper copy of both proposals, we had 5 interested companies, only 2 came back. And I say, Kim, I may have been the one to forward it once she sent it to me, but basically there's 2 sheets we look at, and that is the projected cost of what the service is with each company. Before we leave today, and actually, Shane, if you will, go get those 2 cans in the hall and bring them in just over at the corner as the town of Troutman on there, as I'm talking. But we have had one of the Iredell County companies to come up with logos. When the town first went into the trash and recycle business, we had requested that the town's name be on our cans, and I hear them rolling them now, but they can make the cans whatever color somebody would like. This was just their initial run and proposal. One, of course, is a trash can, and the other is a recycle, and it don't really matter which one you all choose, or if you chose different colors. These, by most people in the business, have proven to be a little more sturdy because of the way they're designed. One of the complaints that we have over time is the fact that wind catches the cans and blows them away. Because they're solid surfaces on the front, a lot of cans have cracked and or broken, so they've not gotten used. But this is just a couple of examples of our current branding that the town has and what it would look like on a can. And talking to both companies, you all have their 1 sheets. One's initial bid was $17 a month. Is what their initial proposal was, using the existing cans that we have. They would replace them as need be, but it would have their company branding on there going forward. The other one was at $18.52. I included in my email to you all just the differences of what one company said. It would be X amount of years, and then we would still have to pay a fee for each can once they turn them over to us. The company that's at $18.52 a month has stated verbally that after the end of 7 years, if we were so inclined to do a 7-year contract, that the cans would be completely ours. I would like to proceed at this point with both companies in discussion to see if all of our nuances, such as notification if a route's not picked up, and what their final bid price is with branding on the cans, to see if it's gonna be equivalent. But unless something changes, the one that is $18.52 per month is the one that I suggest we go with, and we need to do that soon. So within the next day or two, I will continue conversations with both, give you all any updates this coming Thursday's council meeting, and have their general proposals in writing. Once that is done, we would turn it over to the town attorney to look at and sign an agreement for either a 5-year, 7-year, or whatever contract we can go forward. But at this point, the $18.52 with branding seems to be the best rate. And as you can tell by the extra documents they submitted in their packet, there's easily verifiable things. I will add for the record, I've asked Justin to call around to a couple other municipalities. I think, as we all know, the transition from any company to another, there's a learning curve. Just as like our current vendor, there was a learning curve just because they bought out the previous person. But other than that, everybody has gave a very favorable response to Waste Pro, which is the $18.52 bid. Is there anything you want to add to that?
No, sir.
Fair characterization, a little bit of a learning curve, but excellent to work with and performance-wise.
Yes, sir.
Do you all have any specific questions of me? Anything you've reviewed in these that you would like me to pay particular attention to and address in the next couple of days?
I just have a question about the trash issue. You mentioned that you're gonna go back for negotiation on the 7-year plan, and see if that maybe reduced it at all, and also what the year-over-year potential increase is, as we talk about an annual.
Fair questions. What is proposed in our request for proposal, both of these has returned, this is the fee for 5 years. The increases annually would be up to the inflation rate, national inflation rate.
Is there a cap on that?
There is not a cap. If the inflation rate goes to 30%, then it would help us all.
If that happens, we get a lot more problems than trash people.
100%.
If it goes to 30%.
The highest that has been in the last 5 years was 7.1%
7.1.
3 years ago or 2 years ago.
2.
And likewise, if it's flat, then the rates would remain flat.
My understanding is that they will replace all bins. If we go with Waste Pro, they will replace all bins with our Troutman branded name on
That is correct.
them. Versus Republic, which will not do that.
That is correct. Republic has stated in their proposal they would like to use stickers until a can is no longer serviceable, at which point then they would put the branded cans back out.
Who determines when it's no longer serviceable?
You're saying on existing, they would put stickers. They would put Troutman stickers on existing.
That's what Republic has proposed, yes.
Now, existing bins have Troutmans, so they're going to remove them, or how's it gonna, how are they gonna do that with bins that are still in good shape that exist now?
That's what I'm stating, sir. Most of the existing bins we have in Troutman do not have the name of Troutman on them.
It's got BSS.
They state either Benfield Sanitation or Republic. The last few we've gotten the last couple of weeks have stated Republic. So at this point, we have at least 3 or 4 different branded cans that are in the community. Mine still has the old imprint for the town of Troutman, but it's long been gone. You can't read it, except for the indentations.
Well, we also be having to go and look at mine, I didn't pay attention.
Is it like this? Was it like this? Yours?
No, back then,
Well,
they,
not the paddle, but I mean, just it's.
yes, yes,
That's not
where it's
just
in,
a-
it's sealed, correct, yes,
Yeah, that's.
correct.
But Republic is just talking about going forward with, bins that are being replaced, that they will not go around to existing bins and put stickers on them or anything like that.
They would.
They would for a price.
Correct. Republic, I think it's $1 per can. They wanted to charge us to put the stickers on, and then at the end of 7 years, if we paid them $20, whatever can's out there, whether it had the sticker or the branding, would then be ours.
Right. And we, of course, we pay.
I'm with you.
Great.
We pay for the stickers ourselves.
And
I saw in there, the quote. we
I-
tried to
honestly,
purchase stickers.
I did not realize that, if that was the case.
That's what I
thought-
remember reading.
Oh, for a fee, yeah, there's
Yeah.
a fee involved.
Yeah, fee, right. The fee would be for them to put it on, but we would also have to furnish the stickers. And we would keep them in supply of stickers as they replace cans, or they would put them on, replace some cans. You can double check me on that, but,
Waste Pro, under those circumstances, definitely has the better bid.
yeah.
I just need to confirm that is the bid, and is 7 years our 5-year agreement with a 2-year option, or are they asking for a flat 7 years up front? That's the only difference in our RFPs that I certainly need to confirm. And then also, as we stated earlier in our budget session, to make sure that we have notifications. There are several punitive things in there. Business that we've had done in the last few years, routes have been skipped, they've not notified us. Well, if that happens, there's a shame on you one time, but the second time, it's shame on you and it costs you money.
Yeah, I was just trying to point out some differences.
Sure.
It's a little bit of Republic thing, but again, as you say, you know, as they do things for us that we would like to see, that's gonna make that difference to where Waste Pro is better, and cheaper in the long run, and do what we would like to see with our cans, for the purposes that we have, than Republic.
Yes, sir.
Someone who looks at the bid right now would say, well, why are you going to Waste Pro? There are reasons for that, and I was just trying to point out a few.
Great points, yes, sir.
And we can pick any color?
Yes, sir.
Any concerns that they've not done anything in Ardell County?
No. Based off of our surrounding areas, was it Cornelius or Hunterville that's the closest? Do you remember? Matthews and Cornelius, but no.
I think Landis was on there, that's obviously right.
Yeah.
Remember Landis.
Anything else? we could do? That takes us to the next
You
item.
need something firm from us to proceed, or?
Not at this point.
Okay. Sorry.
Overview of the agenda for Thursday.
Yes, sir. Roman numeral 1 is the normal opening of the meeting. Roman number 2 is consent agenda. Item number 3, consider approval of the Design Review Board's building elevation as recommended by the Design Review Board. This is in reference to Waffle House that may be coming to Julian Place. You all have any specific questions of that? Lynn Harris here. Hearing none.
I'm just gonna say, I mean, I'm on that, you know, this is the council liaison, and I'll have to say, Waffle House has done a good job with their design. It's not your grandfather's design. Lynn, you obviously disagree with me if you want.
No,
I
I
think
think
it
it's
was a
very nice.
beautiful design. You know, if it's like the picture showed, it'll be something to be proud of.
It's a brick
Stacy,
building.
you know, being right there on 21.
I just need smothered, covered, all that same.
Chunk.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't need no
Don't
booth.
forget that one.
I just need it real soon, real soon.
You have your supper at the German restaurant, and then y'all mind, and you go for waffles.
The one thing I don't know that somebody's asked me, I've never known there to be a Waffle House that was not open 24/7, 365.
That's a good question.
Did that come up in you all's discussion at all?
He did not.
I don't think so.
I'm assuming it will be.
I think they all are, but I didn't know.
Yeah. He was asking if it was gonna be open 24/7, it did not come up in discussion, I guess. It'll certainly be asked.
We can have some town hall meetings there if it
Right.
is.
Retreat.
After Sunday, 10 o'clock. Sheetz sells more gas than probably anybody in the county.
Absolutely.
Well, all I would say, if we have more of those small town council meetings, that'll be the follow-up.
Jerry, you heard my suggestion a while ago, dinner would be at your restaurant, all-nighters, and then, when they're
Breakfast
not
that
feeling
way.
too good, then they go in and tank up on the 6 o'clock in the morning.
I love it.
Waffle House.
Business is working in sync,
Yeah.
helping each other.
I love it.
Next item?
Number 4, typically we don't state this at pre-agenda who the employee of the month is, but she is so excited, she's already went to Facebook and started telling everybody. We let them know, as you all know, we have, try to have lunch on Fridays before our council meeting weeks. Just one, camaraderie, team building, in general, just trash talking each other as employees. And that's when we announce anything for the whole town, and especially who our employee of the month was. But Amber Ward, Parks and Rec, just completed Saturday her first major product, which was the Arts and Crafts Show. Emily was still on site in hand, but Amber did a phenomenal job and has been since she's been employed. But it will be Amber Ward. We're looking forward to recognizing her. Also, number 5 is proclamation recognizing Kevin Reed Jr., the crew chief of Venturini Motorsports. Councilman now is our community elected official that has a lot to do with this industry. As you all know, we have had several inquiries with various parts of racing wanting to locate to the Troutman area, but this is an opportunity for you all as a board and the mayor to recognize him for his super accomplishment. Number 6 is proclamation of National Child Abuse Prevention Month. Last week, a couple of you all, Paul Hinkle, Felina Harris, and I all attended the ceremony where they tied ribbons to the tree in front of the fire department and read the proclamation that you all had in front of all the group of attendees. That was a pretty good turnout for a little thing. And of course, we cannot stress enough how much it hurts our community and soul to realize how many children are being abused. So I certainly think it's worthwhile for you all's proclamation. Number 8, to my knowledge, there's only one nominee that has been submitted. I have not saw that application. That is up to you all to entertain, accept if you agree. For number 8, number 9, Troutman Organization of the Year. We have had numerous organizations submitted, and I'm tickled. Going back to what Councilman Paul Hinkle, a couple of you others have said over the years, it kind of ebbs and flows to whether we have a lot for citizen or a lot for the business or organization. This year, I feel sorry for you all because you've got a lot of organizations there that have done a lot of good things for our community. One in particular, to my working experience, has done a lot for our area, but again, that is you all's choice. Staff will be happy to answer any questions, whether it's me or anybody you all would like to speak to for various opinions on the different ones. But there has certainly been, this year it's going to be, a lot of them are real good organizations. And I hate that we can't do multiples, but that would defeat the purpose of having the title. Any questions so far?
What organizations have been submitted?
They're in the package.
And
Get it
package.
back. Oh, yeah.
Yep. And again, that's something we generally don't discuss staff-wise with you all until Thursday when you all vote, and then you're welcome to say whatever you wish about, whoever has your nomination, or vote for your motion, but certainly can mention the others. Most of these individuals in past Citizen of the Year, and most of the organizations generally are not aware that they've been nominated. So do keep that in mind as well. But again, that's why you all get to be the elected officials and make that hard choice for Organization of the Year.
Let me, I apologize for interrupting you.
Sure.
Mr. Mayor, should we maybe use this to discuss the applicants so that we can more quickly make a decision Thursday night? At this time, or would you?
What do you say, discuss? Yeah.
Only the nominations for the Citizen of the Year and the Business of the Year. I mean, to discuss them, motion or second.
Can we limit the discussion to a set?
I probably wouldn't necessarily agree to open discussion on it. I mean, I would want to get some consensus, to your point. I like to have that dialogue in open session, but we're going to talk about it on Thursday. My question would be, are there any duplicates in here prior, none of them have ever either been nominated or awarded?
The
Previous
one,
winners.
the one, if you see my manager's comments, they had been nominated previous, I do not remember when. One of the others also, I think, have been,
I have to check the listing.
I think two of them have been nominated previous. I don't think any of those were nominated last year, if that helps answer your question.
But none of them have won before.
Do what now?
None of them have won before.
Correct.
There's no winners.
Was that? there
One was,
one-
I know one, maybe two was of the month. Business of the month.
Back when we did
It was
spotlights.
Spotlight.
Right,
Yeah,
okay,
the
no, no,
spotlight.
This is, you know,
Yeah, this is
obviously the
different.
year. I mean,
I
know
don't
that
think
one
it's-
particular that I've got in mind, we obviously talked about many times.
I will double check the list. I'll email you and let y'all
I don't
know.
remember, and like you say, they've been spotlighted and so forth,
Mhm.
but I don't remember them actually winning Business of the Year.
I do not think any of the nominees have won previously, but again, Kim can confirm that.
You prefer we just let the list, I mean,
Yeah.
Thursday night, yeah, okay, all right, sure.
So, but we're good to proceed on both of those? I just know in years past,
Yes, in years past, without getting into the weeds of it, some of the ones nominated in years past, we didn't necessarily have an in-town person, not that it has to be. And/or some of the organizations, the rules was not followed as far as how they were submitted. And we postponed to try to get more interest in it. It being this time of the year, the advantage to doing so now is both are then allowed if they would like to. There's no money involved. It's just a little prestige that they get to self-promote if they choose, participate in our parades and other events under that moniker of whichever they may receive.
But I think generally, we discuss it at the meeting, which one that will be, make a vote. They won't be at the meeting, they will be at
The next one is when they get
We're
recognized.
nominated.
Correct.
Award them the award.
Yes, sir. Everybody good? Number 10, request for demolition of a, demolition. I'm trying to get into demolition. Request of demolition of an abandoned residential structure located at 135 Rough and Loop, Troutman, North Carolina, HC-22-09. This is where you will open up and have a public hearing to see what, if anybody has to say, and then depending on what is discussed, you all would consider adopting an ordinance 1024, requesting the demolition of the abandoned residential structure. And just so you all know in advance, that would be at town expense. The town would, if you choose to go that route, the town would then place liens on the property and seize the property. Gary can tell you that process if you have any specific questions, at which point the town has no specific use or need for the property, so we have no interest to be in it other than ensuring that they are in compliance with our community ordinances. This is one of the structures through both previous contracted code enforcement officer and current code enforcement officer. There has been excuses and intents, but there has been not one thing that I'm aware of to try to bring the property in compliance or a realistic sales price so that somebody else could bring it into compliance. Shane Harris is here if you have any, or he was here, if you have any questions this evening. Otherwise, that gives him time to prepare any documentations and bring all the necessary things with him Thursday for the public hearing to be held. In general, some of the things that are done in these type cases before, I know the town has referred to a gentleman by the name of Eric Fox, who handled several cases that wound up in lawsuits with the city of Statesville when he was employed there. He does have the background that qualifies him as an expert. I know Shane and he have worked together to make sure that all the I's were dotted and T's were crossed to get us to this point on this particular property. One of the things that normally is done or questioned is there asbestos involved? Does this cost more money? The answer is yes, it does cost more money, but because of the age of the structure, as I had told Shane, if you all decide to tear it down and proceed, then he would come back next month with the costs of doing so, and that is without us wasting money and paying for expert analysis, is to go ahead and tell everybody to expect there is hazardous materials there and it needs to be removed appropriately. But if you all have got any questions, Lynn's here, Shane's here, we'll be glad to try to address.
I got a call, Shane, from someone telling me that there was 17 dogs left at Ruffin Loop. Is this the same place, do you know?
There was,
17 pit bulls or something. Do you know if that's the one we're
not
talking
knowledge, I mean, there's an abandoned structure, there's evidence of dogs being there, but I've never physically seen a dog.
But she was saying that they were all, so I told her call, I can't do anything about it, but
I've been to the property loads of times, and I've never.
you never seen the dogs? Okay. Maybe it was a different place, but I know she said Ruffin Loop, that there was an abandoned, the guy had abandoned the home or something like that. I didn't know if that was the same place or not.
I will also echo Shane's sentiments. I couldn't tell you how many hundreds, not dozens, but hundreds of times I have been out there. I've not seen any loose animals at all anywhere on part of Ruffin Loop that I've been, but specifically in a couple structures that were in need of repair. As he stated, you can see signs of where animals had been, but I've never seen an animal in either house. One that is being brought up to standards, or this one that no work at all has occurred.
Shane,
Several houses there that, or, I'm sorry,
go ahead, yeah, go ahead.
are there, sounds to me like there's more than one house that's in disrepair in that area?
To go back, let's just say 20 years, at one time there were a total of 5 structures. The last murder before we had one this year was committed in one of those houses. They have since been, 3 of the houses have since that time been torn down, and the last one was torn down somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 years ago. The last remaining debris that was there, we got into compliance, and the foundation and things that were abandoned were actually cleaned up and hauled away. The house that is being remodeled now is the one I'm told that the actual murder many years ago, probably 2 decades ago, actually occurred at. But the other one, they're right side by side. One, I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of 9 months. Shane, do you have a longer time that they, or a better time that they've actually been working with permits to bring the property in compliance? Is that about right, 9 months?
So it's nothing that we don't have.
Well, there's been some side issues, but we continue to talk about those. It is being brought up to standard. The one right beside it, absolutely no work whatsoever, period.
Have we had any correspondence at all from the owner? I read that he wasn't at the hearing.
Right. I have sent countless letters. I've even been by the physical address and left a business card and said, please contact me. And now, I have sent certified mail, and that certified mail has come back signed, but that's been it. They've not bothered to call
That's why we have certified mail.
or anything. So I know that they've seen the letters because they've sent certified mail back.
Right.
But they have not tried to contact me whatsoever.
Is that the one we had that they were willing to sell it, but it was like,
I have had several realtors reach out to them, but the realtors got back with me and said they want an ungodly amount of money for like $200,000 for a house that's only tax value at $45,000. And so none of the realtors were even interested in purchasing the property.
So what we've been asked of us, right, is to approve, go moving ahead, to get pricing first, of course, but the plan to demolish it, place a lien on the property, right? And then, I know we have no need for it or anything, right, but that's the process we got to follow, right?
yes, and with this having no need, we would simply, just like any other property, if the demolition occurs, if the lien occurs, if it's awarded to us, then we would simply open it up for bid to the highest bidder, period.
Now, that leads in my question. Good memory on that murder. I forgot about that. But anyhow, estimated repair costs exceed $40,000. Tax value for the house is only $45,000. If we're going to spend taxpayer, and again, I realize we're doing this for the health and safety of that neighborhood, and I certainly want to do that. I'm not saying anything negative about tearing the house down if necessary, but at the same time, if we're spending taxpayers' money, I want to make sure that it is somehow adequately covered, that if, we exercise lien and, through whatever legal means, we put it up for auction, that we at least get back, whatever we put in to carrying it down. Now, you mentioned mold, I believe it was mold.
Asbestos.
Asbestos, excuse me, asbestos, well, that's even worse. Well, is that 40,000 include, experts coming in, removing asbestos as well as removing the building, raising the building?
Well, Shane can tell you with whomever he's talked to that gave out, this is general ballparks. These are not quotes that anybody has given us, but basically we're hearing anywhere from $20,000 to $4,000 to remove it, understanding that it has asbestos, to make the site then ready and available for anybody that wants it. Again, until we ask for quotes, we don't know what that's going to be, but anywhere from 20, 25 up to 40. I certainly do think there will be legal fees involved, whatever that is on top, but based off the price that we have received for the 1 3/4 acre lot, this would only be, it's like 0.2 acres, I believe. It's not a big lot. However, it can be split in two, and it can be sold to where they could be 2 additional residences bought, so.
The lot runs all the way to Talley Street. It's a narrow lot
Gary, a legal question. So we go through the process of raising the building, put a lien against the property. At what point can, when nothing, if we continue to hear nothing from the owner, at what point can we move to put the lot up for auction?
Well, I believe not, I don't really know anything about that procedure, we've never had to do this in Troutman. I'll have to get back to you on that, most likely we'll end up filing an action where we get a court order that says what we can do. Most of those are quick, there have been terrible, Statesville had one that went on for years, Court of Appeals, Supreme Court, back, so, but we'll just have to get the court order.
Yes, sir. Anything else on this topic? Thank you, Shane. Number 11 is consider appointment nominations to boards. A is Board of Adjustment. You all had suggested, I think prior to my arrival, if not, it was shortly thereafter, that all the auxiliary boards for the town at least look at and review applicants for those boards and talk to the individuals and then make a recommendation to town council as to what their thoughts was to help you all in making your decision. The Board of Adjustments did that. They have Kenny Overcash, who's currently on the board, has asked to just let his term expire. Pauline Grant Jones applied for the position. Even though no one else did apply, the BOA did meet with her and talk with her. Also, the current ETJ voting member on the board is Lee Geiger. He was a midterm appointee, meaning he's not served a full term. But again, the Board of Adjustments have talked with him, and they unanimously recommended that both of those individuals serve on the Board of Adjustments. Planning and Zoning Board, even though you all requested that they make such opinions or suggestions, said no, they're not going to do it. That's on you all to make the choice. Inside voting member Karen Van Vliet is up for reappointment. Current ETJ voting member is Mark Taylor is up. His position is up, and one expires in May. That one, if you all choose the inside position, then certainly in May they can be seated and proceed. Just as a reminder, ETJ voting member for planning and zoning has to go before Iredell County Board of Commissioners, which would hopefully be sometime in their May meetings, which would allow them, it could be as late as June, which would allow whoever you appoint to this position to then be seated in July at their first meeting in July, or their next meeting in July. We do have a couple of applications there. I leave it up to you all if you would like me to invite both members so that you all can talk to them, or if you all have attended enough and seen enough meetings to where you have an opinion on one, if you would like to meet the second one, or if you think you have enough facts that you can make decisions without having either one here, that leave that totally up to you. We have done it multiple ways up to this point of inviting people here before you and or making decisions based off of people's conduct and performance. So it's entirely up to you all. Yes, sir.
So there's two candidates for the one ETJ spot.
That is correct.
So it's Mark Taylor and
Lauren Cummings.
we can only appoint one.
That is correct.
Thank you.
I have a question, isn't there another opening on the planning and zoning board with, one of the members living outside of the ETJ?
That is the,
Design.
there is,
Mark Michelle.
And Mark Michelle?
no, that's an inside position, and because he lived outside, neither of these could fill that position, but you are correct. There is another inside position open. Yes,
And Lauren doesn't.
and also design review.
Lauren doesn't live inside.
She does not.
Can, while we're on the subject of Mark, is this a good time, you reckon, to talk about that for the DRB?
Sure.
You know, he has been determined to live outside, and DRB, you know, has, tried to be, so I'll say inclusive when it comes to having, you know, people that, specialize in various trades that are applicable to the design review board. You know, we have one gentleman who's a design, and has been in construction. We have another gentleman who's in construction. We have a gentleman, his wife's, is familiar, and has been on the council, for a number of years, chairs the board. And, Mark has been on there. Now, even though his specialty is, in landscaping, you know, he knows something. I mean, obviously, working landscaping, you get to know a little bit about the trades as well. And, the years that he has been on DRB, you know, he has asked the right questions, has shown the interest, and, you know, has been an asset. And that's come up, since he is outside and inside, with no problem, no question. You know, since he's on the outside now, a little bit of a question mark. And I'd like to propose, to this council that, and this is consensus of the DRB, that they would like to see Mark, if he's is still willing, to remain on the DRB at least, to continue, to come and be a voting member of that, council, even though he lives just outside of the town, and, continue to contribute as he has done in the past. Say I recommend this. I think Lynn recommends it. Again, the DRB recommends it. They met last week, and we discussed this, and they would like to see him continue if the council would have no problem tweaking the rules a little bit to allow, you know, for him to continue, even though he lives outside. You know, that's kind of a gray area for us for the DRB, because we have allowed that to occur. You know, we haven't had a strict, you know, so many inside, so many outside in the past. And I'd like to see that maybe for the right person to you know, keep the board relevant and not just have a warm body, but somebody who knows what they're talking about in terms of design review. Because we do have members on there that are interested, and you know, I'm proud of that board, and I'd like to, you know, and I've seen Mark in action, and if he's still willing, I'd like to see him continue on that council, or on that board as well, if it's the will of this council.
When I was talking to Lynn about this earlier, unless something has surfaced that we have not reconvened on, I do not think the design review board requires a certain amount of inside ETJ or others. I think similar to our ABC board, that can be an appointment of whomever you all choose. Is that correct, Lynn, or did you find something since?
I agree, I'm sorry, I'm gonna just say, I agree with you, that's the way it was, as I mentioned a while ago. However, I have got a piece of paper, and I don't have it dated, but it does have 5 members that reside inside.
Well, it's the rules of procedure, and I think somewhere along the line, something got changed when an ordinance was amended.
Yeah.
Because I think when the board was originally created, you all took into consideration the need to have members that had expertise in that field. And with it being a board, it's a committee that you all appoint, you have the ability to appoint anybody, like the manager said, that you like. I think what we would just need to do is amend those rules of procedure, which the board can do themselves. You all don't have to be involved with that, but we definitely wanted your direction before we made any of those changes.
So in the rules of, is it in our ordinance?
I'll have to check to see, it might be in the UDO if that's the case of the text amendment, but what I'll send you to, the membership is written into the rules of procedure of that board. So, and it defines the number, they have to reside in the town, they have to reside in the ETJ, so we would need to amend that.
Can you bring that back to the board so
Absolutely.
that we can review that part of it before we make that decision?
I'd be happy to do that.
Gonna make it more difficult.
Please.
Which of our community boards are we locked into the membership on?
Planning
Like by
board
statute?
and board of adjustments.
So,
Our
Board-
legislative boards.
Board of
and
Adjustments and, I'm sorry, what's the first?
Board of adjustments and the planning board.
Okay. So all the other boards, we probably, if we're gonna change this policy on DRB, we probably need to do it all out of
I would agree that we need to make sure that all boards are following the same rules, whatever that is, 100%. And just to confirm that in the change of our UDOs, that something didn't get changed or omitted that we're not aware of, that did change that. Because we, currently on ABC board, I know we have 2 inside and 1 ETJ person. But as we learned with that board in particular, we had a couple, when it was 5 members, that did not meet either. And they certainly were great board members that helped bring that project to life. So I understand Councilman Hinkle clearly and you all, but as you stated, the intent was always to have the better people, not just to find them but where they lived or didn't live. And even though we're required by statute on these other 2 boards to have a certain mixture, these other boards, to my knowledge, no state law
Well,
exists.
correct. When it was, I think Bible, I don't think it's Bible anymore, the recreation board is.
Right.
I think it, but when it was, I think it was open to outside and inside, no hard and fast rules.
It changed from time to time, but yes, sir, you're exactly right. I will only say that board was doing great. Council lady Harris got there and it disbanded. She said, if this is what y'all gonna talk about, stop. Just stop right there.
I can't
The UDO says the design review board shall consist of a total of 5 voting members, 2 non-voting ex officio members, and 1 member and 1 alternate member as follows. 5 members shall be residents of the town's planning and zoning jurisdiction, corporate limits, or at ETJ. 1 member shall be a design professional. 1 alternate shall reside inside the town's planning jurisdiction. The alternate shall be appointed by the town council. In addition, 1 council member shall be appointed as a non-voting ex officio.
So it says planning, I would presume that includes ETJ. Okay, so we're good?
He's not an ETJ.
Oh, he's not?
No,
That's right, you did say that. You're right, I forgot, you're right.
Does he
It
need the
also
professional?
said it had 1 professional.
Which we have.
1 design professional.
And
which he is.
we have Mr. Nance, he was the original design professional, I think he's been on the board since it
Right.
was, first came about. So he is the one that was appointed to that position, so if we were gonna keep Mark on there, we could
Is
either.
he also in the ETJ?
He is not.
He's not.
And he's not inside?
He don't even live close.
But he's the right guy for the job.
He lives off
So
the
far.
Tree Road.
See, it sounds like we may need to relax some of the
We
requirements.
need to lose Mr. Nance,
You
for
would
sure.
have to
Yeah.
amend the UDO.
You could have 2 professionals, or you could make other decisions. Yeah, if you can present that to.
As a text amendment?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. And I would say that's up to 2 professionals. I don't know if you wanna require, you have to put required 2, but up to 2.
You don't
Never
have to
require
put
anything.
anything in there.
That's what I said, what if we just strip it down?
You just say
5 voting members and 2 alternates to the council?
Appointed by town council.
That sounds better, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
I'm sorry, what was said?
That's your 1/4.
I don't really listen to this, but
So you have
what did he say just now?
He has been known to throw that gavel, so be careful.
He's working today.
He's working all right, he's working.
Working on something.
Just say
I like
alternate.
full of it, all right.
I think they changed
What Gary,
the requirements, right?
He said you didn't have to call it
He said
anything,
five
they could just say
members,
5
members.
appointments.
They said just
That's
take
it.
the resident.
Don't matter where they live, you can
Alright.
appoint
Take away
5
the
people.
resident requirements, just remove
If we
it.
get the right people, I'm fine with that.
I just can see us having to,
Yeah,
Yeah.
five
Yeah.
appointing members
every
to that.
year.
Right.
Do those
Yeah.
even be?
We need to let them bring
She is, but, yeah. I think she got it.
Make that clear again.
So just five voting members of DRB.
5
Sorry.
voting members of DRB.
5 voting members?
2 alternates? Or do we have alternates?
Without regard to residents.
Just, yeah, I thought just, I was just starting at the very bottom, 5 voting members, 2 alternates.
Yeah.
I don't know of any other, yeah, I think if you want to put any limitations on it at all,
Keep it
really.
simple. That sounds good.
And I
Yeah.
said, you know, without residents, so we can live the state with them, like, you
Right.
know,
Sounds good. All right, thank you.
All right. All right. Next item.
That's it?
All right.
Only, my manager's comments, if anybody's got anything, I will be here afterwards individually to discuss. But I certainly think one has proven